Tonight, we are waiting to see when those charged in the sweeping Fulton County election investigation will appear in court. It comes as we approach 24 hours since the indictment against former President Donald Trump and 18 other co-defendants was made public.
Now, this indictment describes what prosecutors call a conspiracy to unlawfully change the outcome of the 2020 election. The 98-page case lays out 13 charges against the former president. They range from making false statements in writings and filing false documents to violating the Georgia RICO Act. And breaking within the last few minutes, one of the defendants in this case, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, has filed a request to move this case out of the Fulton County courts and into a federal court. We will have more on this development and the details of the indictment coming up in just a moment.
But first, we have live team coverage with more on what to expect in the coming days ahead. Let's kick things off with our Faith Jesse covering all of the action outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Faith?
And you all just brought that breaking news, a motion. We could see several motions from different folks in this indictment. We're talking about 19 different people listed in this indictment for these RICO charges moving forward. And we could see some people try to move it out of Fulton County's jurisdiction, like you just said, Mark Meadows there, to a federal jurisdiction to try to have a better chance of getting it dismissed. So we are seeing the first of what could be many. What we do know is that these indictments came down late last night. They now have an August 25th deadline by noon to voluntarily surrender. And we will see in the coming days who comes and when they come. Right now, we want to get things over to Rebecca Lindstrom, who actually has an update on someone who is trying to negotiate that date.
A few hours ago, we exchanged emails with the attorney for one of those defendants, Kenneth Chesborough. He said he is reaching out to the DA's office, trying to negotiate the surrender of his client. He is hoping to simplify this process because I am told that booking through the Fulton County Jail can take typically more than 12 hours.
It is indefensibly slow in Fulton County compared to basically any other county in Georgia.
Joshua Schiffer says when defendants show up, they are fingerprinted. A mugshot is taken. Their belongings are put into an envelope until they leave. They fill out a basic medical questionnaire and answer questions about their ties to the community to help determine bond.
It's the discretion of the prosecution, what kind of deals you can make, and then looping in the jail. Pat Labatt came out last week and said he's ready to accept everybody because he always is. It would be a deal between the prosecution and the defense.
We reached out to the DA's office to see if they were in a deal-making mood, but got no response. But we have seen in other high-profile cases where the paperwork and bond terms are handled in advance. Either way, defendants have until next Friday at noon to show up, even those living out of state. If they don't,
and these are felony warrants. These are multi-state extraditable warrants. That's why she's giving them all of this opportunity.
And even after booking, it can take 24 to 72 hours to appear before a judge to negotiate your bond. That is what keeps you out of jail while the process is sort of taking place to get the case to trial. It is unclear. That is certainly one of those other elements that could be pre-negotiated, predetermined before someone comes in for booking. What I can tell you, what is clear, is that neither the DA's office, the courts, or even the sheriff's office are interested at this point in time in making their plans public. Faith?
And you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that, Rebecca. Thank you so much for breaking that down, because I want to bring in our Palazuro, who has really been closely following the security angles we see out here, and we've been seeing for, gosh, the last couple of weeks here, increased security measures. So what are you hearing?
Yeah, as we know, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office has this area heavily barricaded. But you know, there are several agencies really working to keep this area very safe. They are on standby in case anything were to happen. So let's show you a map of these street closures so that you are aware. So Pryor Street is closed to general traffic. According to the Atlanta DOT, you will still be able to drive along MLK Jr. Drive, Central Avenue, and Mitchell Street, but no parking is allowed surrounding the courthouse. Now, the Atlanta Police Department tells us it is closely looking at updates from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and is ready to assist if anything is needed. Now, this morning, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens explained that the city relies on several agencies to be able to keep people safe.
Doing my job to make sure that I coordinate with federal, state, and other local partners to make sure our city is safe, that the court proceedings can take place without any kind of interference.
Now, also something to keep in mind, a MARTA spokesperson says there are currently no plans to close rail stations or stop service on any routes. Now, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office tells us that these street closures will remain in place through Friday. So I did ask them, hey, what is going to happen after Friday? And a spokesperson did tell me that once that time comes, they will let us know. But so far, nothing has yet been announced.
It's going to really be interesting because you have 19 people, the largest indictment, including the former president that we've seen in recent months. It is certainly unprecedented.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of expecting still a lot of security here in the area through, next Friday, the 25th.
I'm sure we'll be getting an update soon.
Absolutely.
Paolo, thank you so much.
Well, great to be with you, Brett. What a difference.
And now we're going to send things back.
All right, Faye, thank you. The Fulton County RICO indictment now is a big one, and 11 Alive has been poring over the details since it dropped just before 9 o'clock last night.
At 5, you might recall, we broke down the key parts against former President Donald Trump. Investigative reporter Zach Merchant is back now with what you need to know about some of the other co-defendants here.
You're right. Attorneys we have talked to over the last 24 hours say that the scope and the breadth of this indictment is one of its defining features. Former President Donald Trump is the highest profile defendant named in the indictment, but he is far from alone.
A Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charging 19 individuals with violations of Georgia law.
Other prominent defendants named in the indictment include former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Emory Law School professor John Acevedo says it's about more than those who were charged.
These are going to be the major political figures of the day coming through the city to testify, to be defendants.
Meadows faces 2 charges, including 1 count of solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer in connection to his participation on a now famous January 2021 phone call between then-President Donald Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is 1 more than we have.
Other less prominent figures are also among the 19 named defendants, including Scott Hall, a local GOP activist accused of giving Trump operatives access to a secure location within the Coffee County Elections Office.
I'm the guy that chartered the jet to go down to Coffee County to have them inspect all of those computers. I went down there, we scanned every freaking ballot.
Now, despite being named in this indictment, it is very important to remember all defendants are presumed innocent at this point. And we just got word moments ago that former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows filed a motion to move his case out of Fulton County and into federal court.
Zach, thank you, and we will keep you updated with what happens with that. Now, tonight we are starting to hear from some of these defendants in the case. Savannah Levin's joining us now to break it all down. So, Savannah, who are we hearing from so far?
Well, Jennifer, we have been reaching out to all of the 19 defendants listed in the indictment. So far, only really a handful have commented publicly. We told you about a few in the 5 o'clock hour, and since then, we have new statements coming in. We are now hearing from Kenneth Chesbrough. He is an attorney charged with being a co-conspirator in the fake elector scheme. Memos he reportedly sent to the former president and others have come out describing a plan to create fake electoral slates and use them to press then VP Mike Pence to reject the legal Democratic slate of electors. Now, in his statement, his attorney told me Chesbrough intends to voluntarily surrender, adding each of the alleged overt acts that are attributed to Mr. Chesbrough relate to his work as an attorney. He did not once step foot in the state of Georgia on behalf of the campaign and was not privy to the private communications of other individuals that are cited in the indictment. We're also hearing tonight from State Senator Sean Still's camp. Still is the only sitting elected official on this indictment. His district includes parts of Fulton and Forsyth County. Prosecutors say he was also a part of the alternate elector scheme. Now, in a statement, his attorney told 11 Alive tonight the evidence at trial will show that Senator Still is innocent as the day is long. We look forward to our day in court to clear his good name. We'll continue to update you as more responses and reaction from the defendants come in on air and online, 11alive.com.
All right, Savannah, and you can find all of that when you join us on our website and inside our 11 Alive news app. You can also text the word RICO to the phone number you see on your phone, on your screen right now. It's 404-885-7600. And when you text that to that number, we will send you a link with the very latest information and all of those updates as soon as you do so.